Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we're going to learn about IELTS Speaking Part 2. We're going to look at the topic of art exhibition. Art exhibition. In this lesson, we're going to look at some questions and some sample answers. Before we begin the lesson, please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, give this video a thumbs up, and share this video on all your social media platforms. Now let's begin with the questions. Describe an art exhibition that you visited. You should say A. When and where you saw the exhibition. B. What was on display. C. Explain your personal impression of the exhibition. Let's begin with question A. Describe when and where you saw the exhibition. The key words in that question are where and when. Now you can answer that question by saying, 5 years ago, I paid a visit to a memorable art exhibition in Paris on a school trip, accompanied by our art teacher and 10 students from my art class. 5 years ago, I paid a visit to a memorable art exhibition in Paris on a school trip, accompanied by my art teacher and 10 students from my art class. So in that sample answer, I answered the first part of the question, which is when. That was 5 years ago. And then where? I paid a visit to a memorable art exhibition in Paris on a school trip, accompanied by our art teacher and 10 students from my art class. So do not simply say 5 years ago in Paris. No, try and give an elaborate answer. Be detailed in your answer. 5 years ago, I paid a visit to a memorable art exhibition in Paris on a school trip, accompanied by our art teacher and 10 students from my art class. Take note of the expression to pay a visit. I paid a visit. You pay a visit to something. Memorable means that it's not something that you're going to forget in a long time. You will remember it for a very long time. Accompanied by means that your art teacher came with you and 10 students from your art class. You are not alone. You had other people who came with you. Accompanied by. They came with you. Now, let's move on to B. What was on display? What was on display? So you need to describe to the examiner all the things that were displayed in the art exhibition. Now you can answer that question by saying there were so many items on display. They included contemporary art paintings as well as historical artifacts and ornaments. There was also a lot of pottery on display. In addition to that, I saw plenty of sculptures and statues. There were so many items on display. They included contemporary art paintings as well as historical artifacts and ornaments. There was also a lot of pottery on display. In addition to that, I saw plenty of sculptures and statues. So in that answer, I have described all the things that were on display. There were so many items. They included contemporary art paintings. Contemporary means modern. Historical artifacts and ornaments. There was also a lot of pottery on display. In addition to that, I saw plenty of sculptures and statues. So take note of the vocabulary that describes the sort of things that you would see in an art exhibition. Contemporary art paintings or just paintings, historical artifacts, ornaments, pottery, sculptures, and statues. Let's move on to question C. Explain your personal impression of the exhibition. Explain your personal impression of the exhibition. So, in this question, you're supposed to describe what you thought about the exhibition. What did you think about it? What did you feel about it? What is your opinion? Your personal impression is your personal opinion of the exhibition. Now you can answer that question by saying, it was a fantastic exhibition. Everything was very well organized and displayed. Most of the art pieces were arranged according to a particular theme and sizes. In a nutshell, I would say that it was very educational, fun, and a great source of inspiration. It was a fantastic exhibition. Everything was very well organized and displayed. Most of the art pieces were arranged according to a particular theme and sizes. In a nutshell, I would say that it was very educational, fun, and a great source of inspiration. So, in that answer, I have given my opinion as to what I thought of the art exhibition I visited. I used words such as fantastic, well organized, and displayed. Most of the art pieces were arranged according to a particular theme and sizes. It was very educational, fun, and a great source of inspiration. So I started with, it was a fantastic exhibition. And then in the rest of the answer, I explained why it was fantastic. Because it was very well organized and everything was very well displayed. Most of the art pieces were arranged according to a particular theme and sizes. So that sentence explains what I mean when I say everything was very well organized and displayed, because most of the art pieces were arranged according to a particular theme and sizes. And then in a nutshell is an English expression that we use to say, to summarize, very briefly, in a nutshell. I would say that it was very educational, fun, and a great source of inspiration. So that's how you're supposed to answer these questions on describing an art exhibition that you visited. Now, just to give you a few tips to make sure that you pass your IELTS Speaking Part 2, the first thing is when you get your cue card, underline the keywords in the questions. In question A, you have when and where. In B, what. In C, explain. The keywords will help you to make notes and ensure that you do not go off topic. So the first thing that you do, underline all the keywords in your questions. Tip number 2, for each question, make sure that you provide extra details. Elaborate your answers. Make sure you have at least 2 to 3 ideas for each question. Tip number 3, join all your ideas together using linking words. In my sample answers, I have used a number of linking words. I have written the linking words for you in black. In sample answer 1, I have and in B as well as, also, in addition to that, in a nutshell. So join your ideas together using linking words. The next tip, make sure that you use the correct vocabulary for the topic that you're talking about. In this case, we're talking about an art exhibition. So it is important to take note of the vocabulary that I have underlined for you in red. I paid a visit to, a memorable, accompanied by, contemporary art paintings, historical artifacts, ornaments, pottery on display, sculptures, statues, fantastic, well-organized, displayed, art pieces, arranged, theme, sizes, educational, fun, a great source of inspiration. The next tip that I'm going to give you is be very careful about the tense that you use when you're giving your answers. How do you know the correct tense to use? Always look at the tense in the question. Question A, when and where you saw the exhibition. So the verb there is saw. Look at the verb in the question, and the verb will give you an idea of which tense you should use when you're giving your answers. Saw is in the past tense. It is the past tense of see. So in your answers, you should use the past tense. 5 years ago, I paid a visit. Paid is in the past tense. Accompanied is also in the past tense. In questions B, what was on display? The verb is was. It is in the past tense. So your answers should also be in the past tense. There were so many items on display. Were, past tense. They included. Included is in the past tense. There was is in the past tense. I saw plenty of sculptures. Saw is also in the past tense. So if the verb in the question is in the past tense, then use the past tense to give your answers. And then in C, explain your impression of the exhibition. Explain your personal impression of the exhibition. Now, the exhibition happened in the past. So when you're giving your answers as to what you thought about it, you have to write that in the past tense. It was a fantastic exhibition. It was a fantastic. The verb was is in the past tense. Everything was very well organized. Was, again, is in the past tense. Organized in the past tense. Displayed in the past tense. Arranged in the past tense. I would say it was in the past tense. So be very careful with the grammar, that is the tense that you use when you're giving your answers, because to be perfectly honest, the grammar is what really determines the band that you get for your IELTS speaking. Now, the next tip that is going to help you is if you're aiming for a band 8 and a band 9, then use compound and complex sentences. A compound sentence has 2 verbs. A complex sentence has 3 or more verbs. A compound sentence is joined with 1 linking word. A complex sentence is joined by 2 or more linking words. Let me give you some examples. Sample answer A. 5 years ago, I paid a visit to a memorable art exhibition in Paris on a school trip accompanied by our art teacher and 10 students from my art class. That is a complex sentence. B. There were so many items on display. That is a simple sentence, just has one verb. They included a contemporary art paintings as well as historical artifacts and ornaments. That is a complex sentence. There was a lot of pottery on display. That is a really simple sentence. In addition to that, I saw plenty of sculptures and statues. That is a compound sentence. And the last sentence, the last sample answer, it was a fantastic exhibition. Everything was very well organized and displayed. Compound sentence. Most of the art pieces were arranged according to a particular theme and sizes. Another compound sentence. In a nutshell, I would say that it was very educational, fun, and a great source of inspiration. That's also a compound sentence. So if you're aiming for a band 8 and a band 9, use a lot of compound and complex sentences in your answers. Now, if you found this lesson helpful at all, if you have learned anything new, then please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share this video on all your social media platforms. Please share this video with other people so that they can also benefit from this particular video. Now, thank you very much and see you in our next lesson. Bye bye.